I'll figure that out later. Change that invitation. That's the next one I get. Hey guys, how's everybody doing tonight? Just happy Canada Day to those who live in Canada. Just thought I'd try this for the first time. Not sure how this is going to go. Apparently I didn't realize that there's an orientation lock on my phone for this live thing, and that's what I'm using for my camera. So we'll have to suffer through for the first one on this one, I guess, and then I'll figure it out from there. So I just thought I'd just generally do this as a live chat just to see how it would go. I get lots of questions on some of my modded ones that I make and some of the ones that I run. This one in front of me is a prime example. It's a Hyper 7 with an LRP 0.32 Spec 2 in it. It's just lots of fun. I like to try and stick overly large engines in buggies that probably shouldn't have them, but they're lots of fun. This one, just as a general rule, we'll get going after we get a few more people on there. Hey Compass, glad to see you. I do love your positive comments in the other chats with Night Prediction and whatnot. So when we get some more people on here, we'll get going. All right, 5 so far. Right on. Okay, I guess we'll get going. Right on. So it's 4 o'clock, my time anyway. Happy Canada Day again to those from Canada. So just this Hyper 7, I've gotten lots of posts, comments on this thing when from other people from when, how did I get this LRP in this buggy? You shim it up, and I originally gotten some ideas from Scotty from Texas there, and then I also come up with some different ideas on my own. So on some of these buggies, there's engine mount plates. Kind of look like this. They go underneath the engine. They go like this. Pull starts in the back. So what I did was these ones here. You get a second one, and you stack it on top, and then you notch out this plate right up to this screw. Leave yourself lots of room, or you can trim it off straight across this hole because it gets sandwiched in there. And then that gives you the room for this big Jesus backplate that sticks down through the back of it here. Because otherwise, as you can see, this piece doesn't sit down square. It sits all screwy. So you have to do something, either you shim it up through the motor mounts, which is ugly, or you shim that down. So if you double stack those, it gives you the gap you need between the bottom of this plate and the chassis. So that generally does, for all the buggies, as a rule, there's some variation of this plate on the buggies, right? So that generally fixes most of the buggies. Otherwise, you're putting shims between the mount and here. So it does make the buggies super fun. This LRP 0.32 is a beast, and I wouldn't recommend putting I have put a couple of regular LRPs in some of the other ones, but you've got to make sure you put a very large bell if you're going to run a 0.32 in a buggy. Unless it's one of these LRPs, especially the Spec 4 or the Spec 2, because they got a rev limit that goes through the roof, so they can manage to run. I think I got an 18 tooth bell on this one, and it has enough power to do it, and it will rev crazy. So if you look on any of my other videos about this buggy, it will hold the RPM. I think the Spec 4 has like a 40,000 RPM rev limit, so it's quite high. I would love to try and make this again back to a bump box style, which would let me drop this engine down without a shim, without the shim underneath there. But I do like the pull start on a bashing buggy. Obviously you can't race them when they're this big, but they're fun nonetheless. This one will just do 4-wheel drive burnouts all day long. It's super fun. You got to watch it, it'll peel the tires right off it. It's great fun. These Offner buggies are kind of built like a tank, so they'll take it. And if anything, I've had some of these Offner buggies with the 0.32s like this in them, and I break the monster trucks more than I break these buggies, and they'll take it. They're lots of fun. Like I said, they'll hold up. You can beat the tar out of them, and they'll take it. The older Offner buggies. I did have this. This is an M26. Super fun engine as well. It came in that Losi Aftershock. I think you can see it behind me. It's a great engine as well. I've had that in a couple buggies. The other good one to try is if you want a big engine in a buggy, or not a humongous engine in a buggy, but a fun engine. This actually started out life as a Dynamite 0.28. I have put an Offner head on it just so it looks like an original Offner engine. It fits right on, and it's also a great engine in a buggy. The 0.21 is great as well, but it depends. Some of these older buggies, they're a little bit heavy for just a 0.21, and unless you're going to put a really good 0.21 in it. What kind of header is that? So this is a Jammin JP1 header and pipe, from an older Jammin buggy, and these are great pipes. The JP1 and JP2, they're great pipes. They're underrated as far as I'm concerned. I have some Nova pipes and Nova Rossi pipes, and I find this pipe is by far great. The only thing that I don't like about them is the style of the stinger. So when you're breaking an engine in, you can't put anything over the stinger to try and get it to not slobber all over the place. So, hey Nitro RZ Life, Brett, how's it going? Glad you could join. Again, this is just a general BS, and I've never done one of these before. Apologize for the fact that my rotation lock is all fucked up on my camera. So it's on my camera, I should say, my phone. This is the first time I've ever done one of these, so just trying to do one to try and talk about. Like I said, it's Canada Day here, just kind of a general BS about some RC stuff that I love and enjoy, and some questions about some modded stuff. So if anything, any of my kits behind me, if you guys want to see anything, or you want to talk about anything that I have run or you've seen in a video, I can bring it down, we can have a look at it, or we can talk about it, and I can show some how I've modded it, or what it looks like, or what have you in detail. sometimes it's tough to show that on a YouTube video. So it's easier. I figured we just do it live, and then we could actually have a chat about it. If anybody gets anything out of it, then it's a win for the day. So I apologize if I swear the odd time. That's why I did say that this was not for kids, because I tend to drop the F-bomb from time to time. So what do you guys all run for radio gear lots? What's my favorite monster truck? By far, the MGT 8.0 is my favorite. I have every version of the MGT that they made. I have the Mini, the 8.0, the couple different variations of the 8.0, and as well as I have the 0.21 MGT, the 0.46 MGT. I also have one that I was collaborating with a group effort with myself, with Joe, on, and it's unfortunately Joe no longer has his, that we were putting a 5.9 Savage engine in one, and we did that, and it turned out really well. I grabbed that one. Put this one over here. Clips back with that buggy. So this is my MGT started out life. Actually, I bought this, funny story with this one. I bought this one as a parts truck, and I can't seem to let any of these things die. And I bought this from a super great gentleman in Edmonton for 50 bucks in a various state of disrepair. And I couldn't let it see it die, so I actually put it together out of random parts and pieces that I had. And it has seen this, more or less, this truck has turned into my engine test stand, which is kind of funny to see from Monster Truck. But because these MGTs are so easy to take the engine in and out of, they make a great test truck for testing various big blocks. So this one ended up just as a hodgepodge of pieces and bits. It's got T-Max front shocks. Still has the original MGT rear shocks. It's got a clutch out of Christ knows what. It's actually got a spur gear out of a Savage. It still has the original fuel tank. The radio gear is the Radio-Link radio gear, which I tend to really like. That's what I run a lot of mine on now. This is the F5.9 that came out of one of Joe's, his Savage XL that he replaced with an LRP. So I put one in mine and he put one in his. So, and then we were just doing some comparison stuff. So, it's a super fun old kit. Like this one that doesn't have a whole lot of mods to it. The only thing that we did do that's a little bit different is that I found a new old stock header and side exhaust for the MGT, which is a great mod. If anybody has one of these things, I do recommend this side exhaust from the stock one that runs across the ass end here, because this is just a dog breakfast. It paints the bass end of the suspension full of shit, and it just ends up ugly. So I went to the side exhaust. This one has a side exhaust. So does my original MGT that I've had forever. It was actually one of my first kits, and it has the F 4.6, which, to be honest with you guys, the F 5.9 is a fucking boat anchor. It is. I don't care what anybody says. It's a dog. Like, it is not a great engine. The engine underperforms. The forest version of the same thing is a fucking tank. It just burns a lot of fuel, makes a bunch of noise, doesn't really do a bunch of shit. But the F 4.6 is a far better engine. I don't understand why. I've tried everything to tune this thing, and it works decent. I mean, it gets along and it boogies, like it'll get up, move, but I find it just a tank. It's like the old 350 Chevy big block. Made lots of noise, burned a lot of gas, didn't do much, right? So it's to me, it's just kind of it's a great engine. It makes, like I said, it's impressive, you know, but it's kind of a tank, and but to say it's in one, it's good, you know. But I just find it's hey, Hybrid, how's it going? Glad you could join. Sorry, my camera's all weird and straight up and down. I didn't know that I had to do a rotation lock thing. I should have done prior, but I didn't. So you guys will have to bear with me. I'm just trying to do one of these for the first time ever. So again, this one for you, those who just joined, this is one of my MGTs that I've built out of random parts and pieces. It's kind of a hybrid, no pun intended, hybrid. But yeah, a hybrid of T-Max parts, Savage parts, and all kinds of other random stuff. So this is that one. It's a fun kit, but as Compass kind of started the conversation off of what was my favorite monster trucks, and I still stand by the fact that I still feel, and I know it's kind of sacrilegious to say that the MGT is the best monster truck. I know there's so many Savage fans out there, but I'm still kind of a diehard MGT fan. I just find the platform is solid as a rock. So I'll grab another one. So now you want to talk about MGTs that have far too much bling on them. This one is my other MGT with the original 4.6 in it. This one has probably all the energy crap that you could buy in the day, right? So I put the Hummer body on it. It has all the aluminum arms and extra the GPM front and rear strut towers. It has the RPM transmission. It has an actual aftermarket RPM tank. The shocks are RPM with the actual functioning oil reservoirs. It's a great old truck. I just find with all the aluminum stuff on this one that every time I take it out, I'll fucking break it. Like it's a great old truck. I run it once in a while. Every time I seem to take this out, I break it because it does not take impacts very well, and I'm running out of nice aluminum stuff to put back on it. So I do run it from time to time. I used to run it a lot in the winter time, but now I don't run it that much because I don't want to wreck it because it is kind of pretty. So I do run it a bit here and there, mostly now in the summer. That old one that I just showed you there, that's kind of my winter go-to. I've posted some snow running videos with that thing in it, and I run it lots in the summer, or in the winter time, and it takes a dirty beating, that poor old thing. So, this one, like I said, it's a great old rig. The funny story with this one, when I bought it, I got this one from a guy up close to Edmonton. He was super well off dude in a really fancy, ritzy part of the city, and I went to his place, and he's like, "You give me $150 for it, I'm throwing it in the fucking garbage can." And my wife looked at him and said, "When's garbage day?" And he got all pissed off, and he actually ended up selling it to me for $150, and it hadn't run in like 10 years, and I dragged it home, the engine was stuck, and I got it all freed up, and it runs great. I mean, I resealed the carburetor and everything else, and it's a great old rig. It's a little dusty because I haven't run it for a little while. That plus I cleaned the floor the other day and tended to stir up all the dust. So, what's all your guys', everybody else Savage guys on here, or what? I know Compass is a huge Savage guy. So, which would you guys like to see? All right, Brett, we'll grab another one. I know this is one of Hybrid's favorite. This is the MGT 3.0. This thing is pretty much as clean as they come. Like, this thing is all original. You know, right. It is right down to the antenna and little tip on the top of it. It is dusty because I haven't run it for a little while. I'll show you a Revo in a little bit. You'll like that one. This one is still has the original engine in it. The gearing has never been touched. It even still has the original AE servos. They're super cool. I love those things. They're responsive. The 2-speed in this thing works phenomenal. It never causes any grief. These 3.0 MGTs, I do recommend them if anybody is interested in them. Oh, I did lie. It does have one Amazon servo in it. The other ones are both AE. This one, steering servo, I remember this now. When I bought this, the servo was weak. And so anybody that wants to know too, this AE, I think it's a 0.30 or 3.0. The pull starts in them are kind of shit, but the cheap Amazon roto starts fit them perfectly. So you can see it in, I'll flip it around so you can see it. You can see it fit right on there. They work great. They're a little overkill for that little wee engine, but it does turn it over pretty good. So you are right, Compass. They're hard to find, and everybody seems to want a fortune for them. So if you get a chance to grab them, this one even still has the original rubber. Again, I got this from a guy in Edmonton. It was in super great shape. It didn't even have fuel in it. Never even had fuel in it till I got it. It was just in a heated room somewhere in the house, and it never was used. And even the body is perfect. Like, whoever, mind you, somebody cut these extra windows out in the back, which is kind of a pet peeve. But other than that, the thing is super clean. I run it a little bit here and there, but again, like Compass said, it's super. I don't want to break it because you can't find parts for it, so I do run it. I run everything that I have except for that Kyosho, the Kyosho Pico Genesis. It tends to be. I'm scared to run that thing. It's a 3-speed pan car. You can't get parts for it, period. And I'm scared to break that thing. I can't find tires for it. I think last time I looked, I got to get tires from Portugal. And I don't want to spend, I think it was 180 euros for tires, and that's a little rich for me. So I'll grab a Revo. Somebody mentioned the Revo. The blue body in this one, that's cool. I'll grab that Revo. So this thing's been a member on my YouTube channel for a long time. This one got some fairly heavy mods to it. My other one that I had that was modded, what kind of word is that? That it was modded fairly heavy, and it actually went to Joe in England, and then it got taken, which is a sin. This one has anybody who's watched any of my YouTube channel videos, this one has what do you call that? Tiger Drive Rotostart, and it has the 0.26 Pico Max, which is an awesome engine. and there's a direct bolt in for anybody that wants to do one of these Revo upgrades, like to a big block. I highly recommend if you can find it. You're getting pretty tough to find, but the .26 Max bolts right in directly. The header bolts on. Everything works perfectly. So if you look at my YouTube channel, this thing will rip rolling wheelies like nothing I've ever had. Like it will. I can be rolling down the road probably about 10 or 15 miles an hour, and this thing will pull a wheelie the whole length of my street. It'll hold it. It's super fun. And it's bulletproof. Like I won't even. This thing can sit on the shelf for 6 months. I'll pull it down, prime it. Usually forget to charge the fucking battery, and then charge the battery, and then it'll rip, and it'll go, and I won't even have to touch the needles. It'll just go. It's super duper reliable. Like if anybody that gets one of these, I highly recommend doing it. This does have the RPM transmission update because the transmission in these things, I think, were made of peanut butter. They're not great. There's an input shaft in there with a fucking pin in it that shears in half all the time, and it's shit. So anyway, so if you do the RPM update, transmission is great after that. This thing has a little bit more updates here and there. Not a whole lot, just a little bit more suspension stuff. Updated pipe. I have broke the fucking header on this thing twice doing wheelies, but since I made my homemade wheelie bar on the ass end here, anybody that would like to see that could let me know. I actually made it out of 2 pieces of plate, drilled a hole in it. This, and Brett could probably appreciate this, this used to be one of my kids' toys. And I actually took the rear axle off of it, drilled a hole in it, made this little plate, and tucked it up under the wing, and it holds it at a perfect wheelie. And it used to chew the shit out of this wing, and I would actually leave like lowrider sparks ripping down the road. And now it just perfect. It just goes on that little wheelie bar, because I found the Traxxas wheelie bar would not let it come over center to hold it properly. It would just go up and then slam back down, and it would never kind of hold it. So this one now lets it kind of come up and stay up. So like I said, anybody that it's even a good mod to do with a 331, just because the other thing is too, because it tucks up so high, this wheelie bar tucks up so high, you can still jump things without breaking the shit out of everything. So like the stock one, it used to hang down here like a fucking dog dink, and then you jump shit, that will hit the ramp, and then the thing would just blow itself to pieces. So the best thing, like I said, if you go to do it, I can show you. It was actually a die-cast toy my kid gave me for Christmas one year, and I hacked the rear axle off it and made a wheelie bar out of it. So it works pretty good. But it's like I said, it's just a fun mod that, you know, it's just fun. It's something it worked really well, and I get asked every time I run this thing, you know, when I post a video of it, where'd you get the wheelie bar? I made it. Like I said, it's 2 pieces of tin, body metal tin from an old fucking Chevy hood, and the bar axle runs across, and works great. So I'll put this one back. So what do you guys want to see next? So I just going to quickly talk about this little engine. So I bought this engine at a swap meet, and the guy says he knows nothing about it. So anyway, I brought it home thinking the thing is dead and pinching in. So anyway, he kept flaming out all the time. So I think it's funny. Some guys will appreciate it. It would run, then it just wouldn't hold the tune. It just ran like a bag of shit. It would run for a little while, then it wouldn't run. Anyway, I was in this hobby store, and I actually found a new old stock piston sleeve. Put the piston sleeve in it, fired up. Still same thing. Ran like a bag of shit. It's the old K 5.9. So, I started looking at it, and the guy had, and I shit you not, the starter shaft in the back of the engine. I pull it out, it looks funny. It's a bolt that you can even see, it's a grade 5 bolt. Somebody cut the end of it off, and it's in here. This fucking thing is like a hot dog down a hallway. It is horrible. Like, it is just, it flops around. Like, look at that. Needless to say, that's an air leak. And it's I put a better shaft in there and it's better, but it is hogged out, that housing, to the point where this thing needs a new rear tail housing. It's just fucked. Like, it's not even, it's a sin. Like, so I will eventually find a new housing for it. But this thing is, it would not tune. I don't care if you're a master tuner, even if you're Todd, you can't make this fucking thing run. Like, it's a piece of shit. Like, now it is a paperweight. So, which sucks because I spent $100 on a piston sleeve to find out that it's fucked. So, nevertheless, what do we want to look at next? It's funny. Oh, I got one for you. I'm sure a lot of you guys have never seen one of these. So this, I got this from Joe. He basically gave up on it because the engine was done, and we had swapped some stuff. I traded him some stuff, and he sent me this. And actually, I sent him the Revo, and he sent me this. And because I thought it was interesting, because it's actually a 1/10 scale. But it's a 1/10 scale buggy. Anyway, it came with the Kyosho little, I can't remember what model that engine is now. Little Kyosho engine. The engine was super underpowered. Came with a really tiny little weird pipe. And anyway, long story short, it was baked. Joe actually managed to find a piston sleeve for me and gave it to me. I still have it hanging on the wall back there. But I thought it'd be a fun project to try and make it. I know this is sacrilege for you people that hate Traxxas, but this is a serial pipe. This is a Traxxas 3.3, obviously, and I made the engine mount out of, please don't shoot me, out of an RC10 GT engine mount that I had that's a spare, and a piece of 3/16 plate. No holes were drilled in this chassis in the making of this mod. So I made it, anyway, long story short, this fucking thing scoots. Like, it is a much better kit now than it used to be. That's a T-Max header. Like I said, serial pipe. Super fun little buggy. Really fast. I actually had to I had to put these belted tires on it because the original set of tires, it could go in so fast they exploded. And actually, me and a buddy of mine were in the street running it, and I did a blitz by, and pieces of it actually got him in the face as it was going by. I'll show you. I'll grab the tire. It's actually quick money. Here's the tire. You can see the pieces that blew out of it. It just exploded. Like, it's kind of a sin because I was kind of hoping to keep it original. These are the original wheels. But they would not take. It wouldn't take the RPMs. You know, as people say, it wouldn't take the R's. So, and then I built these body mount extensions because I didn't have the heart. This is the original body, and it's in really nice shape. There's no cracks or chips or bangs out of it. So I actually made an extension to lift the body up, sort of like the old school Chevy or old school pickup body mount lift kit that, you know, nobody likes, but everybody does because they're too cheap to lift the truck properly. So I did this that way. The body did not have to get butchered to fit around that Traxxas engine. So it worked out really well. Just lots of fun. That wants to see some savages. Which savage do you want to see, Nate, first? You pick, buddy. Which one you want to see, Brett? XL, X, 2.5, any and all. Okay. We'll start with the oldest first. All right. Old Savage 2.5. So I got this one in, and I got this one in an estate sale from a gentleman in a city. I went to originally just buy. He had a collection for sale, so I texted the guy and I said, "Hey, you know, can I just buy the HPI RS4? That's what I wanted." He says, "Well, yeah, come have a look." He said, "I'll split it up." I said, "Okay." So I get there. His father had passed away. Super nice gentleman. Then he said, "I want these to all go to a good home." Anyway, long story short, I ended up buying the entire collection because I didn't want them to sit there. This is one of them. This thing runs like a dream. Don't judge me on the air filter. It's just the outer casing here looks like ass. Not a Bronco body. It's actually a Jeep body. It's an old Rubicon body. It's a pretty neat old body. Anyway, this is not the original engine that would have come in this thing. It would have come with a Kingstar engine. It has the slightly newer HPI 4.6, and this thing runs like a dream. This engine has tons of power. It runs great. Transmission shift's good. These old chassis with the heavy roll bar, they work good. The only thing I hate about these Savages is the left and right wheel nuts is a fucking pain in the ass. So I don't know who has these and who doesn't have these, but I really wish they didn't do that. Other than that, I fucking forget, because I'll put it on the shelf and then sit there, and then next thing I know, I'll pull it down off the shelf, and meanwhile I'll snap one off, being an idiot, and because I'll forget about it, and then I'll pull it down off the shelf, mess one up, and put it back together, have put new parts on, and try again. So anyway, the long story short, this is a great old truck. It's a little bit dirty. I usually don't put them away this dirty, but I think I run this one not that long ago. So it does run really well. It actually still has the original HPI radio gear, the old AM stuff. So it does work good. This old body has actually seen better days. I found the little running board piece was in the box of stuff, and actually managed to do the old drywall repair and shoe goo and put the little running board back on. So it's a great old truck, but it runs good. Even the old radio gear, like I said, works good. Body's a little bit beat up, but it still looks pretty decent. And I like the Jeep body. I will eventually. You hate them too, eh? Yeah, the old tire hexes they're just pain in the ass. Like I just wish they wouldn't. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they wouldn't have done that, because it's like I said, especially for somebody who has a bunch of them or has the new ones and then has the old ones to boot. Like you forget about it, and then you pull it down, and then the next thing you know, you damage something because you completely forgot about it. It's kind of like I can't remember what it was, an old Studebaker or 50s Chevy or whatever. They did the same thing. They did the left and right wheel nuts, and it doesn't work good. I don't believe it runs good till you have it. Oh, all right, I'll show you one of them. No, not right now. I'll finish running through, and then we'll figure out what ones we're gonna run. And then, because then I'll fuck up my camera angle and move it all, and then you guys will be like, "Oh, I can't see anything." So. So this is my Savage X. That's also part of that same collection. From that same fella from Edmonton. This one had never ever been run till I got it, of course. And I had to break it in and everything, and it had never even seen fuel. This thing is, it's perfect. It runs great. Now I can't remember the last time I ran one of these. I think the one-way bearing was slipping in this one, but I can't remember if I fixed it or not now. Like I said, this thing is pretty clean. There's not anything on the body. I actually have two of these that are exactly identical. The only difference is the shocks on the other one are colored. This one is not. And the other one has the LED battery indicator on this side, which is a fairly rare mod as well. These are great trucks. Like I could see why people love them. Buddy of mine has one, and he bounces it off friggin' rocks, you name it, and it just takes a dirty shit kicking. Like it's hilarious to watch. I don't have the heart to do that to it. I just can't just randomly launch it off of something, and then like my hat's off even to you, Brett. Like some of those launches you take, man, it's like you get some nerves of steel. I'll tell you what. So some of these Savages are tough as nails, man. I will give you that. Like they are tough. Like this thing is really clean. Like I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but aside from the little bit of road dirt from the last time I drove it, there's no big marks underneath of it. The plastic is clean. It still, unfortunately, still has the plastic pipe on it. But I don't have the heart to change this one. Like it's all still as is. You know, as it came to me from the gentleman's dad. Like so I don't, like I said, there's 6 of them that I got from the same guy, and he basically entrusted me with his father's collection to kind of carry on his legacy. And I would sell, if I ever got in trouble and ended up selling a bunch of them, these 6 I would never sell out of respect to him, just because it'd be pretty shitty to do that to somebody. You know, if they give you something to carry on somebody's legacy and you would just sell it, it would just. I realize that some people don't look at things like that, but I do, especially if somebody gives you a trusting deal and they're like, oh, here, we'll give you a deal on something, and then next thing you know, you turn into a dick, right? So, you know, I have, like I said, I have quite a few of these RC cars, and like I'm sitting at 46 now, and I have 2 boats, so 48 total. Anyway, I want to save every one that I can find. The only one that you don't see on the shelf back there is actually one that's screwed to the ceiling over there, because it's one of those, what do they call that? Nitro XRC. It was from Walmart from back in the day. I keep it up there as a reminder of how shitty nitro cars got at one time. So anyway, I'll grab my Excel. This is my Excel. I wish the body was in a little better shape. I should buy a new body for it. It's a little bit haggard. No pun intended, haggard. This is the older Excel. It is a 3-speed. It has the original 5.9 in it. It has the XRC. Is it the XRC? Yeah, the Extreme RC pipe on it. The thing is louder than shit. Like it's a great pipe, but my God, I have to wear hearing protection to run this thing. Like it is obnoxious. Like anybody that thinks the 1/5 scale is loud, run one of these little pipes. My God, to take the hearing right out of you. They're just brutal. They're like I said, it's a runs great running pipe, but it's fucking loud. Oh, this is one for you guys. So I bought this from a super cool German fella, and he did the tank mod. See he's got that pickup in the very bottom of the tank. Not sure if you guys can see that or not, but that actually eliminates that stupid half tank lean issue that the Savage had, and it took that right away. It's actually a super great mod. I don't run this one that often because I do prefer the X's over the XL. I know there's other guys that would say otherwise, but I find this one a little bit long. I like the X better, and agree. I do like the 2-speed over the 3-speed. This one, I don't think this one's ever hit third. I gave up trying to tune it. I left it. It goes first, second perfectly, and by the time this thing hits the tops out in second gear, it's going fast enough anyway. So I just kind of leave it like that. So it's a great truck, but I haven't actually run any of my Savages since the spring. I run most of my, if I'm gonna run a monster truck, I tend to run one of the MGTs, to be honest with you. The Savages are great trucks. I don't know why they just don't tend to be my go-to as much as some of the other ones that I have. And I'm willing to bet most of my Savages batteries are dead. That is probably something I don't do that you guys probably don't do, that I do, I should say, is that each one of these trucks either has its own radio or it's already on radio, and each one of them has its own battery pack in it that belongs to it. So, which seems to be stupid and overly expensive. But each truck has its own designated hump pack or AA battery pack, depending on the vintage of the truck, or truck or car or buggy or whatever. And I leave it like that. So, because I hate fiddling around looking for batteries for each one. So I tend to leave batteries in them, and I run enough of them that I don't pull them out. I do unplug them when they sit in there. Other than that, that's this. And I do recommend these are actually HPI Goliath wheels and tires. The people think that they're those Proline Badlands. The Proline Badlands are a great tire if you're going to put a super fucking overpowered engine in it. But those things are heavy. The only thing those things are good for is if you got an MGT with an 8.0 that's got enough poop to turn them. But I find, like even on a Savage, those Proline Badlands are great, but they'll make it flip over weird. They make it gutless because it's a lot of rolling mass, and they're not everything they're cracked up to be. The only thing I've ever found them any good on is the MGT 8.0. Just because the truck's so fucking heavy at the best of times that it does good. But what else did I put them on? Oh, the Sen 77. It's good on as well. I have two Sen 77s down there. You want to talk about an ignorant truck? Like, those things are great when they run, but my God, that thing is the most contrary engine on the face of the earth. Like, it can run good one day, next day it hates you, and then the next day it's good again. I'm not sure. Hey, Dexter, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, so I will. Yeah, I suppose you guys probably want to hear something run, hey? So, this one's my most original 8.0, I guess. Except for the rear wheels. They unfortunately exploded. When I got it going, they were a little dry rot. She did a big wheelie and splintered the rear tires into a bajillion pieces. The truck itself the body is in really nice shape. It's not all hacked to shit. It is the short stack 8.0. There was two versions of this 8.0. There's this one, and then there's another one that the engine is like that much higher. Funny you mentioned the flag. The flag is super hard to get, and this one actually came with a brand new one as well in the box with it, and then it's like I don't have the heart to do anything with it. It's just in a box that I will save for when I inevitably wreck that one doing wheelies. Thanks, Texas. I appreciate it. This is my man cave / home away from home. I love my shop. I spend a lot of time out here. Do you guys know how to tell the difference? I'm sure Hybrid does, but do you guys know how to tell the difference between if somebody tells you they're selling an 8.0 or a 4.6 just by the pictures on Facebook Marketplace? So, okay, just so you guys know, I've seen guys do this on Marketplace, and I've seen people get stung. The easy way to tell, if you're looking at these for sale, and you want an MGT 8.0, there's two dead giveaways that this is an 8.0. Number one, there's no spring-loaded header on an 8.0. They only came with a bolt-on header. So if you see a spring, it's not an 8.0. The other dead giveaway is you can see the spur gear here. It's metal. For one, it comes metal. And for two, it has a bearing mount right here so that this doesn't flex and bust the transmission, because the 8.0 has enough poop that will blow the end of this transmission off. So, and then the other one is that this massive, big ass clutch belt, and is actually a band inside for the clutch. And it's a fucking bitch to replace it. It blows apart because you can't get them anymore. But you can put, people don't know, you can put a regular clutch on it. It's not as sturdy as what's there, but so just if you look, like you'll see this. I'm not sure if you guys can see it or not, but there's an aluminum bearing mount right here, and then this is an aluminum spur. So just be mindful of that, because you'll see people advertising, and I've seen it many times around here, and I mean, I've called people on it and been like, hey, how much you want for that MGT 4.6? No, it's an 8.0. I'm like, no, you're full of shit. You go there and you look at it and you're like, no, it's 4.6. Still a beautiful truck, still a good truck, but people screw that up all the time. And then the other thing is, when you go to look at these, if you go to look at one, the high-speed needle is famous for the bearings, the O-rings going for a crapper. So if you turn the screw and it's super loose, don't even try and run it. Reseal the high-speed needle, because what happens is when you run it, it sucks the needle in. It turns right in, and then it runs lean like a motherfucker, and it will bake the engine before you even know it, and then you'll be up shit creek without a paddle because you can't get parts. Like I said, it's a telltale signs for these trucks. These are great trucks, but guys mix them up all the time. They do, and it's unfortunate, like, because they're, people will go buy them thinking they're getting an MGT 8.0, and then they find out later that it's not. My other MGT with the 4.6 in it, the F4.6, started out life as an MGT 8.0, but the engine since died. When I bought it, it had axial .32 in it, and then the .32. I blew it up. So being an idiot. So did you guys want to hear something run? Do you want to hear this one run? The wonderful thing about being out here, I'm the only one that comes out here, so I can run shit with the doors closed. I don't have to worry about anybody giving me shit for anything. The only thing that comes, the only one other person that comes out here is my dog. So, let's see if the radio's got some battery life left in her. Well, looks like I left the switch on. Oh, no. It's alive. Okay, I'll grab the starter. The battery's a little dead in this thing. Hold on a second. That's more like it. The MGT 8.0 and some of the bigger ones, I tend to run 20-10 in it. I don't like to run 30% in these trucks, just for the simple fact that the 8.0 engines get too hard to find. So I don't want to kill it. But the Sidewinder 2010, I find is a really great fuel. I'll just open the door. Maybe I'll blow that away from the camera a little bit. The 8.0 is a very loud truck. I'm sure it looks like a Whitesnake concert in here now from running this thing, but it is a cool old truck. The engine runs like a champ. These things are a torque monster. They're like I said, I recommend them. There, that's a little better. I even still have the original AE Rotostart. You know what? I cheat not. I bought 4 MGTs before I actually got one of these fucking things. I was using a cordless drill and I had a modified Rotostart that I was using. So like I said, great truck. They're a great truck. The 8.0 is my favorite. The Yeah, I get you, Texas. Some of the small block stuff is nice. Actually, I got a couple of OS, um, the OS .21s, and in some of my Hyper 8 buggies, and they're surprisingly quiet until they're revved out, and then they sound so sweet when they're revved out, but when they're sitting there just at idle, they're so quiet. They're so smooth, like all that Italian stuff, the Novarossis and the OS. Not that OS is Italian, but they're so sweet, so quiet. Even my old AE, my old team associated RC10 GT, that thing purrs like a kitten, quiet. Doesn't smoke like that bad. You could sit in here and run it for quite some time before I open a door or something. The 8.0s, they're great, but my God, you don't have long before you go open the fucking door before it'll smoke you right out. Like, great truck. I'm just put this over here so I remember to take the fuel out of it later. Did you guys happen to catch my post about that Thunder Tiger buggy I just got from Calgary? Anybody who likes vintage stuff would appreciate that. Yeah, I'll show it to you. You guys gotta check some of this stuff out, it's pretty neat. So, let's close this big door again. So this is a Thunder Tiger, only made for a few years. It's a Thunder Tiger TTR S3 Pro that I found from a guy in Calgary who had bought it from a racer in the early 2000s, and it had been sitting in a box. Even inside the tires is pretty cool, because if you look inside the tires, it says last time this was run was September 2004 was the tires were dated. So this thing had been sitting somewhere in a box since 2004. And anybody that has been in this hobby for a long time can appreciate this stuff. Like, because first off, I've never even heard of this engine. I actually had to text Todd from Nitro Talk with Todd, because I didn't know anything about this engine. It's actually a Kronos .21 5-port engine, and man, I'll tell you what, this thing screams. Like, it is crazy how, like, I don't think, like, my neighbor came out, and he's used to me running RC cars up and down the road, and he came out and he was just like, wow. He said that one sure turns, because he's almost blind, and he could tell the difference between a regular one that I would normally run and this thing, and he was just like, my God, he said that thing is just turns, he said. So anybody else's freeze? I hope not. Okay. All right. I'll keep going. So, other part of this, sorry about that, fellas. It may have done some glitchy things with my phone, with the Wi-Fi probably picked up when I opened the big door, and sometimes that happens. So the other thing is, this is the radio bag this thing came with. And I'm sure that anybody that saw this in one of my posts, I think it's hilarious. This is an old JP Racing Airtronics radio. Look at the fucking size of this thing. You can club a robber with this thing. Like it's a massive radio. It works beautifully for an AM radio. Like it is fantastic. It runs great. It's super responsive. It's every possible set point you can imagine in it. It's a period thing. I remember seeing these as a kid, and these are these radios were stuff that you'd see in magazines, and it was just great. Like I wish that I could still get these kind of things, but I mean, mind you, the technology is old school, but it's pretty cool, and it is amazingly accurate. Like it works flawlessly, and it came with a super cool bag. Like it even came with an extra bag in here full of crystals, and everything if you needed it, you know. So little covers for the crystals. I'll put that back. Hey Joe, glad you could make it. I wasn't sure if you'd make it with as late as it is there. Hopefully my video's still going. It seemed to have some problems when I opened the door. So, on a different note, this one is another one of my buggies that has been on some of my views. This one actually is a Jammin buggy that I thought was a Hyper Pro, and I've been saying it was a Hyper Pro for a while till one of the guys on one of the OFNA guys was like, no man, that's a Jammin. It's a good buggy, but it's a Jammin. And I'm just like, oh, I thought it was a Pro, and it turns out it's a Jammin XRT or XCR because it's a buggy, and I put a brand new to me, I guess, was a brand new in the box when I got it. It's a Axial 0.32 RR1, which is a great friggin' engine. Oh, I wonder if it froze. Hold on a sec, guys. There. Is it back now? Perfect. I guess my phone was dying. I had to run an extension cord to it. Sorry about that. Thanks for telling me. Not sure if you guys heard what I was saying about this buggy. Do you want me to repeat it? So this is a Jammin XR XR1. So I thought for a long time that this was a OFNA Pro, and actually watching some of Todd's videos, it didn't seem to line up how I thought it was. So I didn't know, and I kept asking questions to people, and then finally I happened to post a video of this engine, which is an Axial 0.32 RR, on one of the forums, and I think it was on the Enthusiast website. And one of the guys was like, "No man, that's a jamming buggy," and I was like, "Seriously?" And they're like, "Yeah." So anyway, so long story short, I didn't realize I had a jamming. I thought it was a Pro, and this thing is a beast. Anyway, it's got the 0.32 RR. It's full start engine. The engine in these Axial 0.32s actually have a small back weight, so they fit right into a buggy. Any of these big block Axial engines will actually drop right in. No mods, no nothing. So, hey, 2RC, good to see you. I've still been rambling on for an hour. So I'm sure that basically I'm just doing a video of for you who just joined, is just a general BS. It's Canada Day here in Canada, and we're just I'm just having a chill out in the garage and chat and talk about my collection a bit and whatnot. And this is like I said, this is one of my buggies. I have quite a few. Joe missed me talking about his stuff already because he was late. So again, I did fire up an MGT a little bit ago, my 8.0. So what would you guys like to see? Or chat about? That's okay, dude. What would you like to see? We can recap some stuff. I'm easy. I'll put this one back. Oh, you want to see about the DBX again? What's my favorite engine? To be honest, my flavor of the week is that super weird Kronos engine that's in that, you just missed it, in that, my Thunder Tiger buggy. That thing, I don't think I own an engine that revs that hard. Like, that thing is just obnoxious. Like, it's that thing is just revs to the moon. Now, that would be my favorite buggy engine. Now, it depends on what way you want to talk about. Like, what's my favorite, most reliable engine? What's my favorite, like, RPM engine? What's my favorite, just like running, just all around engine? If I had to list them in order of just great engines, the Pico 0.26 Max that's in my Revo is a super fantastic engine. It never gives me any grief. Runs like a champ. Never even have to touch the needles from one time to the next. The 8.0 is probably one of my favorites just because of torque, and it's just a monster. The OS speed engines, phenomenal. What three engines do I want to be buried with? Probably the 8.0, the OS speed, and the Pico, if I had to pick three. So I'll just quickly, this one here, this is one that I got from Joe. We traded some stuff for it. This one I modified quite heavily. It's actually a Kyosho DBX 1/10 scale buggy. That is I had modified it and built the engine mount for it. It originally came with a tiny little Kyosho engine in it that was sacked. I traded Joe a kit for it, and he sent this to me, and I made the engine mount out of 1/8 plate and an RC10 GT engine mount that Joe will now shoot me for, that I butchered to put in this buggy, and put this Traxxas 3.3 engine in it. I know the Traxxas shit gets a bad rap, but the 3.3, in my opinion, is still a really good engine per capita. It still screams like a bugger. It runs great. This is a serial pipe, T-Max header. Like I said, RC10 GT engine mount, 1/8 plate modifications. I did not drill any extra holes in this chassis plate to make this engine fit, because I wanted the original, to be able to put the original gear back in this thing. I still have the original engine. I still have a brand new piston and sleeve for it if I ever decide that I want to put this back the way it was. So I left it. I left it so that I could put it back if I ever chose to. Same as the body. I did not butcher the body at all. The name of the game was to try and keep it so that I could put it back as it was. I built these little engine extensions. They're actually T-Max body mount extensions, and I cut them off and drilled holes in them and used them as like a body lift from like an old school Chevy pickup. And they worked quite well. So they, like I said, they lift the body up. They prevented me from having to butcher the shit out of it. So it worked great. You know, where'd that clip just go? This thing is stupid fast, though. I bet you it would give a Jado a run for its money. It is super fun. The only problem with it is it's so light, and it has no traction control, that it gets out of shape in a big hurry. And I put belted tires on it, because the original tires, like I was telling Joe when I got this thing, I exploded the original tires doing a high-speed run. They did not take it, and they blew up and hit a buddy of mine with the pieces when it would go. Actually, there's the tire. So what do you guys want to see, want to chat about? Anything in particular? I've got some weird shit in my collection that's pretty interesting to see. Not a lot of regular, normal stuff. I know I got one that Texas Hill will be all interested in. Sorry, it's not very clean, Texas, but I know you'll love it. I don't take this down very often, but I figured this would be right up your alley, man. So this thing is super rare. They only made a handful of these for the world. I almost sold it a while ago, and my wife looked at me and said, "You made me drive 14 hours to get this thing, and then you're going to sell it." And I chickened out and didn't sell it. And I actually remember talking to Joe about it a few times, and Joe's like, "Don't you sell that thing." And anyway, long story short, it is a 1993 Pico Genesis race car, pan car. It has it's all aluminum. There's no plastic on it at all. It's a 3-speed automatic transmission, belt drive, there's actually nitrogen charged shocks on it. It's got opposed front suspension. I took the radio gear out of it. Jeez, I left a battery in this thing. Christ. I pulled the radio gear out of it because last time I run this thing, I gotta clean it. It's kind of sacrilegious. It's dirty. Last time I run it, it hit about, my guess is somewhere around 80 miles an hour, and the fucking tires exploded. So, funny story, these tires that are on it now, they're not glued on there. I built these tires out of yoga blocks. The, the yoga blocks, as you can see, my collection behind me, each one of those kits is sitting on a foam yoga block so that they don't sit on their tires. And then I took and made a homemade lathe, and then made these tires just for display purposes, just so it's not sitting on fucked up tires. Anyway, this thing, long story short, is an absolute beast. It just cooks with this 3-speed, and the 3-speed works flawlessly, by the way. It is a wonderful kit. It is 4-wheel drive to boot, which is really cool. It's belt drive all the way from the front to the back. You can't quite see it. The belt's tucked inside here. It's an amazing piece of engineering. I stumbled across this thing in Edmonton. Obviously, you know, find most of my stuff within a 300 or 400 mile radius around us. And then yeah, so this thing is, it's a gorgeous piece of engineering. I did run it up till, like I said, up till I blew the tires up, and then I haven't run it since. If anybody on here comes across Pico Genesis tires and wheels, let me know, that aren't 180 euros to buy, because I did find a set in Europe from that Modelissimo group, but they were 180 euros. So, and I am not paying 180 euros for 4 RC tires. So, like I said, long story short. But this thing is one of my prized collections. I love this thing. It is a great kit. Do you guys want to see another? What would you like to see next? Buggy, truck, just BS about some stuff? Oh shit, I forgot to put the air filter back on that. What would you guys like to see next? Everything's still recording okay? Oh, the Mugen. There you go. So this is my Mugen, my MBX. I just painted this body. I actually did, I don't know how well it shows up on the video, but I did Texas Hills fade, or not Texas Hill, Boogie's fade idea for how he paints his buggies. Love it. Great wet method. Works super well. Recommend it to anybody. I've never tried it like that before with a heat gun. Man, flawless. Anyway, so this thing is, out of all the buggies I have, I will admit that the Mugen buggy has got to have the best suspension. It is so smooth, and it is flawless. This is the Orion 0.32. You want to talk about instant throttle response? insane, instant, just like that. Like I can't even describe. You blink it, it's going. Not the hardest revving engine, torquey as shit. Like it wrecked a set of tires in a tank, like on asphalt. I destroyed a set of tires in one tank, and I was like, it's super impressive. And this came from a gentleman in Calgary who bought it and had no intentions of finishing it. He's sort of assembled it slightly. I got it in a state of not broke in and not finished, and I finished it, and then I broke it in, and it's a wonderful piece of work. The just how everything's laid out, how it's all put together. The it's got Savick servos in it. It's got the suspension is like butter. Like, it's super good. The Orion is the shit though. It is fucking phenomenal. Like, it is a great engine. The tank had never had fuel in it when I got it. Now it's a little bit. It's been run now. Like, I run all my stuff. So this one, there's actually some races not far from me, and that are happening in August, and this is actually one of the ones that I'm thinking of taking to the races, because it's just such a great kit. Like, the Mugen is such a nice kit, and I can understand why Drake runs the Mugens, just because they're just so good. So they're so smooth, they're so well built. They're just a great. That's the one. I don't have a Techno yet, and that's the one thing I was talking to Nitro Addiction there, John, about. He's a big Techno fan. Woogie's a big Techno fan, and I want to eventually get a Techno buggy. I don't have one yet. So, somebody mentioned LST. Who was it? We'll look back here. Somebody said they wanted to see an LST. So, this is Aftershock, LST Aftershock. So that Orion .32, that's an Orion .21 in that compass. I am glad that's not I can't even imagine Orion .32. That'd be a monster. That .21 is a machine. Anyway, this is my Aftershock. It is super clean, like, as you guys can see. Is a great, like, even the bottom of it's not even scratched up. This thing is great. It has the Losi 454. This is the best running Losi engine of the two that I have. I have this one and the LST2. The LST2 has the 427. This is the 454. This is a great run. The 454 is a great running engine. The 427, it's a bit of a fuel pig, and it runs okay. It is cold-blooded as a bugger, but it runs not bad. It's my only beef with these LSTs, and I'm sure everybody can attest to it, is where the fucking battery is. It is in the worst possible place that any monster truck put it. Anyway, regardless, I always zip tie the battery pack to the front strut tower because I hate putting it underneath. It's just, to me, it was not a good idea. It was not a great design. This one still has the all original transmission in it. This one, the Aftershock, does not come with reverse, so it does not have the inherent transmission destroying reverse gear that goes in them. So this one has been super bomb proof. This was actually one that I was going to send to Joe at one time, and then shipping was ridiculous, so it never happened. Because it would have cost more to ship this than it was ever worth. So we didn't do it. It's dusty. I'm sitting. This thing is pretty much new. When I got this thing, actually, when I got this originally, it came with this .26 Losi in it, the Mach 26, and I put a brand new 454 in it. Because the .26 at the time would not run worth a bag of shit, and it would just not hold the tune, and anyway, I gave up on it, long story short. And then I put this 454 in it, and then I found out that the carburetor on this Mach 26 was junk. It was that old Mach carburetor, and it was just horrible. So anyway, I put a forced carburetor on it, and that's what's on this one, and it runs flawless now. And that was actually in my MGT up till recently, and it works great. It's a great run engine now. But like I said, it was horrible at the beginning. While we're on the subject of buggies, oh, sorry, Compass. I'll show you the LST2 in a sec here. The Texas will like this one. This is a Thunder Tiger EV4. I got this one from Luke, the Bug 404, in a trade for some other stuff, and he's not a buggy guy. And this thing is great. It has the AE .21 in it. Great running buggy. I love this thing. It is a fantastic platform. The solid as rock. These are, anybody who has the opportunity to buy a Thunder Tiger buggy, I seriously recommend them. They are so well built. I'm so sad that they don't make them anymore. If anybody has the option to look at them inside, take the lid off. They have bracing all the way through the middle, all the way up through, and all the way across here. They're just a solid piece of stuff. Comparing them to any of the new stuff now, these are built like a tank. I swear to God, if you had to have a head-on between these two, these will win every day of the week. They will win hands down. Okay, now I will grab the LST2 segment. So this is my LST2. I have a love-hate relationship with this truck. Sometimes this truck runs good. Sometimes I want to throw it off of a bank. Like, it just, some people love these things. Myself, this thing drives me insane. Like, one day this engine will run fantastic. The next day, it's a piece of shit. But for the most part, when it does run, fantastic truck. Transmissions made from recycled glass, I swear to God. Like, it's not great. The LST transmissions, I find they're great if you run them, you know, on dry pavement, in grass, fantastic. You run them in a sand pit, or you run them in some dirt, and then this exposed side transmission clutching get up goes for a dirty shit, and then next thing you know, it doesn't shift properly. There's a one-way bearing on the side, it doesn't work right, causes you all kinds of grief. This one does have the aftermarket roll bar, which is great. It's a great old truck. I love this exhaust. Losi put that pipe, so the stinger is actually mid-pipe, which works nice. This is the body you're missing. This body's in remarkable shape. I have a funny story with this truck too. Like, when I got this one, I got this as a package deal. I went to the city to look at another one and ended up with this one in a package deal with it. Went to go buy a Jado, and then the guy had this one in 1,000,000 pieces in a box, and he was like, "You buy the Jado and I'll give you that." And I said, "But it's in 1,000,000 pieces," and he's like, "Yeah." He said, "But I'll give it to you if you give me what I wanted for the Jado." And the Jado was cheap. Those of you who follow me on YouTube or see me on posts and whatnot, the backwards piston Jado that's on my shelf came to me with a backwards piston in it. Came from the guy that I got this from. So the engine in the Jado wouldn't run with a shit, and it turns out the guy had put the piston in 180 degrees out, and I fixed the engine with some help from Luke, and it runs flawlessly now, which is a testament to those engines. I know people enjoy shitting on the 3.3, but that engine tried to run with the piston backwards. I must have put 2 tanks of fuel through that thing with the piston backwards, trying to get it to run, and then I flipped the piston around, and it still runs. So, just saying, you know, that they're not as bad as people make them out to be. Oh, I see people are dropping off. I must have rambled on too long. What's everybody else working on for the weekend? Anything exciting? Well, I guess it's not the weekend, it's Monday for you guys, isn't it? This is the holiday for me. Well, that's cool, Compass. Oh, I love them curbs. Hey, curb damage is never fun. That's always a bad one. I almost hit a pole on my Jado yesterday. You know what they say, almost doesn't count. If you guys had to count your collection, would you count your boats with your collection, or would you just count your cars? What kind or brand of radio do I use? Okay, I was hoping somebody would ask that. Thanks, Compass. So, this is my favorite radio. I don't know what you guys think. I have played with these Tantric radios for a while, and I've played with the Spectrum radios. I've tried the FlySky radios. I personally like these Radiolink radios. They're really easy to use. The receivers are cheap. I do have an airboat. The receivers are like 25 bucks. These have a gyroscopic control in them. They have low battery alarms. They have radio range alarms. They have all your controls are super easy to get it on the outside of the remote. You can get this radio for, fuck, I think it's under 100 bucks. They pair super easy. You can program your name of your kit in there. They'll run 30 kits off of one radio. They're just a great radio. Like, I sell them to anybody that I could possibly think of. I send them the link. They're great radios for the price of them. I do tend to run a lot of original radios too. Like this is an old Area 51 RC10 radio for the MGT. They're great as well. But I find the Radiolink radios, like this particular Radiolink radio that's on this side, is actually controls almost all my buggies, because I started going away from the old AM stuff and switching them over to the one radio, which is really nice when you go out bashing for the day. If you grab a half a dozen kits, or 4 or 5 kits, and then you go out for the day and you just have one radio to deal with, 6 batteries instead of 5 radios and 10 batteries and fucking pain in the ass. So at the beginning of this video, I'm sure I had different people here. I had people ask me on the groups how I put big blocks in buggies. Does anybody want to recap that? No? Okay. All right, okay, text. So this is the Radiolink RC4GS. So if you look this up on Amazon, it's the best place to get it. You can get the receivers as well. There's a 5-channel radio, so it's no slouch. It's a great radio. For a cheap radio, works fantastic. I have a FlySky radio, and I find it's super frustrating to use. Like, it's none of the throttle trim controls and shit are that easy to use. They're annoying. So the Tantric radios just don't have enough functionality with them as far as set points go. This Radiolink one will let you program all your set points, all your trim points. It'll let you set a base throttle trim setting so you don't mess up your external throttle trim setting. They're great radios, like I said. And it has an audible alarm for range, which I really like. So if you're getting too far out of your reach, the fucking thing will beep at you and be like, "Hey, turn around," right? So they're great. And A2 asked how far I am from the bug. So I'm about a 14-hour drive from the bug. So he lives on the other side of BC. I'm in BC, Canada. He lives on the other side of BC, Canada. BC is a pretty big province, so he lives a long ways away. Do you have a preference on servos? Yeah. So servos, that's a good topic. I use a lot of these high torque Musi servos because I live in buttfuck nowhere. So these Musi servos, they're good, they're cheap. You gotta watch them. I've gotten a few bad ones from Amazon. They're cheap. They're like 20 bucks. I'm not gonna lie. They work not bad. They're decent in a monster truck. I find them a little slow for a buggy. If I had to pick, I would probably pick the high-tech servos or the Savix servos if you want a high-speed servo. And even then, a good price point one, some of those Traxxas servos aren't all that bad. They're okay, but the Musi servos, for the price of them, they work pretty decent. But if they start acting weird, don't fuck with them, just change them. Because I've had one runaway this year where that servo just decided it didn't want to listen anymore, and I could have had all the fail safes in the world, but that servo lost its home, and it just kept on trucking. And fortunately, somebody's lawn caught my RC car upside down. I got to it before anything else. So, yeah. And then basically, I've switched over to VP fuel from the Sidewinder fuel. I do prefer the Sidewinder stuff only for the simple reason is I can see the stuff. The VP fuel is great, but the Sidewinder stuff, you can see it. That's my only beef with the Sidewinder shit is I can't fucking see it and in the tank, and you can't just kind of blip it by and be like, okay, I got a quarter tank, or okay, I got this much fuel. There's no dye in it. That being said, it does run very clean. So, other than that, trying to think of what else to talk about. What else you guys want to chat about? Oh, does it? The Ryan Lutz stuff has a pink or peach color? That's cool. All the stuff I get around here is all clear. Okay, I'll show you. So I transplanted the, because I hate the steel jugs, I transplanted it into this Sidewinder jug. This is 30%. And this, I don't know, so I've seen Brett, I don't know if he was still on here or not, but this is an airplane crank fuel station. I don't know if anybody's ever seen these. These are old school. There's room here for 2 glow plugs. The glow igniter goes in here. And then you just take this out. This just pops out the top, crank that, fill your bottles for your little dispenser. These work pretty good. They're great little dispensers, and then you don't have to open your jug, and everything stays sealed. This is the 30% race blend. I love this fuel. It works great. Like I said, just the only thing that sucks is you can't see it in the tank. These are, what brand is this? The Dupro Quick Fuel Pump. I recommend these. You can actually buy them from airplane shops. I found them in a couple different hobby stores. They're decent. They got little places for your tools. These places in here for your screwdrivers and whatnot. And, so you can take it with you when you go. I remember Brett did one with a fancy electric pump and stuff. But this is pretty handy, and then you can, if you wanted to, you could even fill your buggy with this and then not even do your little dispenser bottles if you didn't want to. But they're about $50 Canadian, so for you US guys, it's probably like $5. So I do recommend those little pumps though. They're pretty handy, and they're fast. I know it doesn't look like it, but you just a handful of cranks in that thing, and it'll fill a bottle like this size in like no time. So what do you guys use for working stands? Where are you at, A2? Are you in the States? Yeah, I think your dollar's not the best either, but our dollar's at like 40 cents on your dollar. I don't do any racing, Lucas. I wish I could. I'm actually going to try and probably dabble in it this year. I used to race when I was a kid. back in Nova Scotia when I used to race there, and but I got out of it a long time ago. You know, kind of life happens and stuff, and you don't have the money, and you're just a kid. And then I wanted to. There's some races in. There's a good racetrack not far from me in Calgary, Alberta, that I want to start going to. And there's a good race at the beginning of August. There's some good races and stuff in there. And I got a couple buggies in here that would be fairly competitive. I got two Hyper 7s with the OS 8s in the OS speed .21s. I'd love to start racing those. And then I don't do planes anymore. I did planes in probably the early 2000s, and I got out of planes because, to be honest with you, the whole plane community around me were just douchebags. Like, those guys were just, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, they were assholes. Like, they just, everything was purist, stuff was good enough. If you made anything work, they all shit on you. So it's just, I got out of it. And then the government implemented in Canada, you have to have a drone license to fly a plane. So, yes, Compass, I have 3 Truggies. Did you want to see them? Like I said, I love planes. It's just with the way the government licensing is, and in Canada, you know, it's kind of like firearms laws and stuff in Canada. It just doesn't, it's ridiculous. So it just wasn't worth it. Yeah, you want to see Truggies? Okay. So my Truggie collection is not that exciting. So I got 2 Jammin Truggies. Both of them are almost identical, with the exception of one has white wheels and one has yellow wheels. So this one is the XRT one. It's got the big red engine in it. Great, you know, it's a good running Truggie. The body, unfortunately, for whatever reason, they seem to always hack these bodies up bad. And it's a good running old Truggie. This one, a friend of mine tried to get into the RC hobby and got scared off and gave up. And I ended up buying it off of him, along with another Hyper 7 buggy. So this one, you know, I've had this out a couple times, this one and my other one, and my other one has the axial 0.28 ZR engine in it, which is a great Truggie. I'll grab that. Like I said, it almost looks exactly the same. Oh no, it doesn't, not anymore. I forgot, I put a new body on it. So this one came with the same body as the other one, but the other body was just butchered. This body I got for free at a swap meet, so it was the victim to be made to fit this truck. This is the Greenhead 0.28 engine. This is a great running Truggie. I love this thing. This one, the other one has been cursed up till recently. I don't know what it is, but every time I run it, something would happen to it. This one is a champ. I take it out, it runs flawless. Like this engine works fantastic. I do recommend these axial engines to anybody. If you find them, buy them, because they're great engines. They hold a tune. They tune easy. They don't give you all kinds of grief. They don't run really hot. They usually run the tank empty without any problems. Great Truggie. So it's a little bit dirty. It's got dust all over it from the filings from when I made the body fit. You got the Dynamite 0.28 Big Red on an HPI Savage. Well, there you go. That'd be a good engine. That'd be good in there. It's really fun in a Truggie, not gonna lie. Yeah, they're really fun in a Truggie. because they rev so hard that they're actually really fun in a truck. They because they're single speed unit, they keep it up pretty nicely. Then you got one more truggy. So this is the Losi 8T. This is the RTR version, obviously. This thing's pretty clean. Got one little scratch right here on the roof that I did. And the engine's mint, mark on it. This thing's fun. I tell you, for an RTR kit, it's pretty good. Like they get beat on a little bit about just being an RTR, but this Dynamite .28. It's not a bad engine. This thing is a little underpowered though, I'm not gonna lie. The .28 is a decent engine, but my God, this thing took a ton of fuel to break in to get it to actually work decent. I bet you it had probably half to 3/4 of a gallon in it before it actually started running worth of shit. It would complain. Is it on sale? That's good. That's 400 US, so eh? Compass? That's not bad though, that's a good price. This is a well-made kit. Like the difference between this one and the Pro kit is not a big deal. There's not a bunch of stuff different. Like between the one that you see Woogie run and stuff like that, the biggest difference is like these tie rods at the top for your caster and camber adjustments are adjustable. On the Pro kit, these ones are just plastic links. You can replace that shit. There's some other stuff inside that's a little bit different if you buy the Pro one versus this one, and that's really your biggest difference. Like I think the shocks are a little better on the Pro stuff and shit like that. But you can the basic design and the basic chassis, the radio chase is the same. All that other shit is exactly the same. So in my opinion, you're better off buying the RTR and then just putting the other goodies on it. At least you can run it in the meantime. But unless you're racing, and then in which case, you got no choice. You're gonna have to do something, right? Just this would take a lot of money to make it viable to race with, right out the hole. But if you're just gonna go have a good time, maybe buy this buggy and buy yourself a good engine, or try and buy yourself a good engine later, like a nice LRP or something like that would be fun. I think, Too fucking short. I don't know, some people, I think the reason that people like that Losi Truggy is mostly because like, some of the stuff they put on it right out of the hole was cheap. Like the radio gear is just a cheap, it's like this tantric radio. It's just a cheap Spectrum radio, so there's no adjustability. The Dynamite engine is not the most powerful. If they just stuck something a little more poop in it, it probably would have been better. Things like that. That's why people shit on it. The rest of it is pretty solid. Like that thing has seen some big air and it flies straight. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've launched that thing probably 20-30 feet in the air and it lands on its feet without any grief. I got other ones that will pitch, pull, cartwheel, do all kinds of shit when they're in the air. That thing will fly pretty straight. Again, I tell people, depends what you're doing with it. If you're going racing, probably not the best. But if you're just going out to have a good time, like 95% of us are, or if you're just like Woogie in Texas and flying around the parking lot, upgrade it as you go. You know? There's some pretty cool shit. Like I said, a lot of people get hung up on the pro stuff. Like, you know, pro shit is cool. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Like, I got some pro stuff, and it's pretty nice. Like, the quality difference is there. But man, for the regular Joe Schmuck, you know, do you need the pro stuff? No, not really. You know, like, you can get away with just about anything. But it's just a level of, like, I got an HSP buggy over there that I got from Joe, and that thing's a piece of shit. Like, if you look at it the wrong way, it'll break. Like, it's not tough at all. And then you'll take something like that jamming buggy up there, and then that thing will take a dirty pitch pole, cartwheel, everything else will be fine. Pick up, just lick its wounds and carry on. You have a bunch of nitro projects you're working on, HPI? Oh, are you? That's cool. Oh, neat. I have a couple of buddies of mine that live close. They're not into the Facebook stuff or the YouTube stuff or anything like that. They just like to go out. I've finally convinced them to go bashing and stuff, and they're enjoying it. So, the Rustler mugging, almost done. Right on. You guys, I have a fairly decent collection of tracks and stuff. They're just, to me, and I mean, I don't know what you guys all think, but I personally think that the Jado is the best Traxxas thing that they make. You know, next to my seriously modified Revo. Other than that, I think the Jado is the best. What is the .24 XP Dynamite? I don't know what that one is. I don't think I've had that one. But what I found with that Dynamite one is when half the time that it doesn't hold a tune, it's usually in the fucking backplate. That's what happened to my Big Red. I took it apart and it had eaten the seal in the backplate. Like, the O-ring got pulled into the engine and it fucking ate it. So I'd start there. It's the same as that HPI, that Force .32, the .36. It eats the seal in the backplate. The backplate comes loose, and then the next thing you know, it doesn't run very well. And yes, the pro stuff is expensive. You'll spend $400 or $500 US for a kit that still needs an engine, and then you still got to assemble it, and then you still got to, so you have all your costs for assembling your little Loctites and lubes and everything else just to put it together. I mean, like I said, that's great if you're racing. If you're just a regular schmo like the rest of us, you know. But I'm trying to think what else is Joe. Joe, are you still on here? I got an interesting one on here if Joe's still hanging around. Ooh, that's a good deal, Compass. Yeah. If you can get that for that 400, that'd be a good deal. Especially if all that shit's new at a hobby store. I bought a few of those things that people have just given up on. I got one that I don't think many of you would see. Not in Canada anyway. Or not even in the US, I don't think. So this is an Acme buggy. You want to build another Jado? This is an Acme buggy. I got this one from Joe as well. This is an Amazon body because the body had gone missing. So it's just a generic body. But this is kind of a neat kit. It's an Acme Warrior, I believe. It's actually a fairly well-made budget kit. It's sturdy. It's got an SH.18 .21 in it that is surprisingly powerful considering the cylinder head is super duper tiny. It got a massive fucking fuel tank on it. But it runs like a champ, and it has the goofiest little radio on it. But it is a great buggy for if anybody has a chance to pick these Acmes up. They usually get them pretty cheap. But it's a solid kit. Like it is fun. It runs well. It's solid. It's got weird little servos in it. They're Acme servos. But it runs like a champ. It runs well. And this little SH engine with this strange cylinder head on it, it works good. The radio that's in it is the strangest thing. I've never seen another one like it. When Joe sent it to me, I kind of thought it was funny. I thought it was kind of almost a gag at the time, but it looks like something that came from Radio Shack back in the day. It's an interesting radio. I'll show it to you in a sec. This is the radio. It looks like a pistol. It's super goofy. It's got a release button, and the batteries come out like a gun clip. It goes back in, clips in like that. It's kind of funny, but you know what? It works good, and it doesn't go out of range, and it holds receipt. It holds control. It has all the buttons that you need to do. It even has a third channel, which is super goofy. But it believe it or not, it works well, and it doesn't cause me any grief, so I leave it alone. But it's just, look at how tiny this thing is. It literally looks like a toy gun from Radio Shack. One Radio Shack used to exist. Well, guys, I don't know if anybody's interested in hanging out anymore, but I think I'm going to call it. This was my first live. I will fix the camera the next time so it's not so fucked up and going the wrong way. I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out with me for a bit tonight. You run the Noble Radio, it's been great. I've never run a Noble Radio. I do appreciate people coming. We'll get better at this. Hopefully it's not a little bit as chunky and straight up and down. Hopefully we can make it a little more this way the next time. I just wanted to share the passion that I have with this hobby with you guys. I love that you guys do lives, and I was hoping that I could kind of share some of my stuff with you guys and have a great evening and enjoy this Canada Day with me. Hope everybody has a great night, and we'll chat at you later. Later, guys.